Okay, YouTubers. Thank you guys for watching Monday Night Monologue. I know it's gonna kind of suck when y'all see it. I don't know when you're gonna see it, so this is the final video on a Tuesday night. It's almost midnight. I tried to have a little fun at the expense of all of those who have beliefs. So let me explain this really quickly. I'm gonna explain the whole thing. I am a strong believer in the one true God, but I also believe in native deities and other deities as well. I don't put them before the one true God, but at the same time, I've had some spiritual experiences in my life, and so we'll just put it this way: a lot of people are skeptic until it happens to them. All right, but see, these things have been happening to me since I was fucking 7 years old. So I am not a skeptic. There are things out here beyond human understanding, and I can't make you understand it, and I'm not going to try to force you to. There's a new movie coming out called The Conjuring: The Last Rites. The Conjuring is based on a true story, just like the original Exorcist is based on a true story. Ask yourself this question. If we are not on drugs, and you've never done drugs, but crazy, stupid shit keeps happening to you, does that mean you're insane? Or does it literally mean crazy shit is happening to you? I've had a lot of crazy experiences happen to me, and I do follow a lot of these people that make these stories like Bigfoot cryptids and ghosts and other things, and even creepypasta. The main reason why I follow these damn pages is because sometimes they hit shit on the money. No one's ever really talked about the Witch Rider, but I have had experience with the Witch Rider because this little bastard used to torture me from the age of 7 to 15. That's a lot of times of being choked in your fucking sleep. And then you ask people for advice, and they're like, well, if you sleep on your stomach, it can't get you. Actually, it's a whole lot worse when it gets on your stomach, and his knees are in your fucking back, and it's choking you down, and your face is already in the pillow or the mattress. So it's already got its fucking hands around your neck, and it's already sitting on your back, and it's pushing you down. No thank you. And it can get you while you're on your side, as well as on your back, as well as on your stomach. There's nowhere you can sleep where it really can't get you. And I don't know if sleeping standing up is a good idea, but I was willing to try anything to stop this thing from getting to me. So one day, before I turned 15, I had locked my dad out the house, and it would be the last time that I had to deal with this damn thing. I thought it was my dad at first getting revenge for laughing at him for it getting him the week before, which means the damn thing was already in our house somewhere, and we just didn't know where the fuck it was. But it got me that one particular day. Now, the night before, I watched 2 TV shows. Technically, I watched 1 movie and 1 TV show. And those 2 TV shows matter. The TV movie was Lethal Weapon 2, and the TV show was Magnum P.I. Now, Magnum P.I. came on after Lethal Weapon because it was like 3 a.m. when Magnum came on, and I was on my way out to sleep. But Lethal Weapon came on like about 9:30, 10 o'clock, somewhere in there, because Magnum came on. So I either woke up to Magnum or I stayed up. I can't remember. But Magnum comes later. The part in the Lethal Weapon movie where, God damn it, Mel Gibson pulled Danny Glover off the toilet on the count of 3, and he goes 1 and 2. Well, he goes 1 and 3, and Danny goes, "What happened to number 2?" He said, "Uh, it went out the window or some shit." It was something funny he said because the toilet was probably loaded with shit and it had a bomb on it, blew through the roof of the house, smashed on the car. So whatever the hell the line was, it was an awesome line. And he said, "What happened to 2?" And it just go watch the movie Lethal Weapon 2. All right. So then when Magnum came on, Magnum PI went swimming and got shipwrecked or tossed overboard or something happened. And he was in the Navy, so he knew how to survive in the water. So he was hanging on, and he saw a shark. And he said, "I'm going to count to 3. And the shark is going to magically disappear." Which the shark just left him alone and went on about his business. And Magnum PI made it without getting the shit bit out of him. So after that, Magnum PI had went off. Now, I'm asleep. My dad wakes me up. I think he wakes me up at like 5:45. So that means I haven't really went to sleep. I got like maybe some sleep. And so my dad had this old house. And I'll tell you guys the story before. And if not, here's the short version. The locks were square. And they were attached to these old doors where you had to push the lock, and you had to turn it with the key to make sure it stayed locked. And he had a couple of deadbolts and some chains. So I let my dad out. I hooked the screen door. That's the important part. I hooked the screen door. He said, Jimmy, lock the screen door. I'm not coming back. Go to your aunt's house for lunch if you get hungry, or there's food in the kitchen. Now, prior to that, we locked the other door. It's a door that's a hallway that goes outside through a screen door. And that same door has a side kitchen door, which my dad had blocked off, which also has what? One of those square locks. And the lock to the hallway has another one of those square locks. But the key works on all the locks. So we push the little latch and we turn the key, go back down the hallway and take him out, do all that bullshit. And we have to have a house key to unlock the deadbolt and the main lock, which is above the lock with the goddamn switch, which is why you didn't lock that lock when you left the house. You left that lock alone. You only locked the modern lock versus the locks we lock all night long when we lock the old school locks. So, I knew I locked my dad out, but I forgot to lock my dad out. And he had no other way back in because he was locked the fuck out. And both of the screen doors was locked. He had no way of getting in. So, he wouldn't have been able to get in and choke me. So, I'm in my room, and I'm sleeping my ass off. And I feel like I'm being choked. So, I thought it was my dad. And so the first thing I hollered was, Dad, I'm sorry. Dad, I'm sorry. You can stop now. I'm sorry. And the more I said I'm sorry, the tighter the grip got. That's when I realized, hey, that ain't my damn dad, yo. I am not in this house by myself. And so, I've reached enough. You know, I wasn't going to keep having this shit happen to me. And I got tired of it happening to me. So, I said, I'm going to fuck your shit up. I'm going to count to 3. And I'm going to fuck your shit up. And I had a standard blanket. And I skipped to like Lethal Weapon. And I put the damn blanket over him and me. The thing was, I couldn't fucking see it. But it was under the cover with me. And I was scrambling to hold it. And I couldn't hold it. But I had it. I literally had it in my hand. Whatever the fuck it is, it does exist. I had it in my fucking hand. And then when I got my ass out the cover, I lost it because we were really tussling under this fucking cover. And no, this is not an overactive imagination. I've had other spiritual shit happen to me too. But this is the most important because it never came back after that. Because beforehand, it could touch me and I couldn't touch it back. But that day, that one fucking day, I truly was king of the impossible because I touched a fucking spirit. And 9 times out of 10, you can't do that. And I touched that sumbitch. It never came back. It never came back. And don't think that I don't pray before I go to sleep. But I am waiting for it. Because the last thing I said to it before it completely disappeared was, I'm going to catch you. I'm going to prove to the world that you fucking exist. I don't know how. I don't know where. I don't know when. But as long as there's breath in my body, I'm going to prove to the world that the Witch Rider exists. Motherfucker never came back. I've been waiting. Because now I'm 52. It's like, oh, I'm old enough to defend myself now. I'm strong enough to fuck your shit up now. I wasn't then. That was a special day. And it's probably the best day of my life because I didn't have to deal with that son of a bitch anymore. However, I did have to deal with this floating head thing. And this floating head thing would always appear. And when it appeared, it took me a while to understand that it wasn't an enemy. So I don't know if you can see, there's a scar on my thumb. And there's a scar somewhere on this middle finger. So this will be the last part of the story. Because spiritual shit does exist. I'm not trying to scare you. Believe what you want. Worship who you want. I'm not the guy to try to change that. First time I saw this damn thing was the same year that I got rid of that goddamn fucking Witch Rider. My friend Lloyd and I, we were playing in his grandma's yard the night before. The head kept popping in, popping out, popping in. I'd see it, I'd scream, he'd see it, he'd scream. Now, mind you, my dad was mad because we garlicked this whole house. But he thought that it was actually the very next week. The week before. It was the week before, sorry. I'm old. I owe my fuck up. But anyway, whatever it was before, It happened before the last scuffle with the Witch Rider. Anyway, the weekend before that is when we garlicked the fucking house. So my dad wasn't happy about that. And then we went outside to play, and I fell off the mini cliff beside his mama's house, his grandma's house, Miss Ruffin. So shout out to Miss Ruffin. We went down. We were going to play G.I. Joe, but his mom's and his grandma said that we couldn't play unless his little sister could play. So we decided to play with our human forms instead of the toys. So we made paper berets, and I really got into character because his sister was the Baroness, and he took my favorite Joe. He was Falcon, so I had to be Flint. And he hollered, "Look out, the Baroness!" And the Baroness threw a grenade. I said, "Grenade!" I got into the roll, and then I slipped. I shoved him out the way, but then I slipped. I fell, I hit my arm, I hit my head on a fucking rock, and my body was buried inside the water. But there was no water because the tide had just, by the grace of God, went out. And Timex really does take a licking and keep on ticking because it's the only thing that came out without a scratch. So there's like a line of mud on my face, right? Like this whole side covered in mud. My whole body imprint is in the ground. And so I get up, and Lloyd and his little sister, they're laughing, and they're like, "Damn, that backflip was cool as shit." And I'm like, you know how your foot feels when it falls asleep? Imagine that going through your whole body, because that's how my body felt. And I felt like that for like about an hour. And I came up, and my dad's like, "What the fuck happened to you?" And I was like, "I fell off the cliff." He's like, "You all right?" I say, "Oh yeah, I'm fantastic. My watch still works." He's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah." It takes a licking, but it keeps on ticking. So, summer ended. I came back to Virginia, well, to my side of Virginia, Charlottesville, and I had got a job. All right? And on that job, it was Kegler's, Van Dyke Central, where the white man kept calling me chief. That's where that scar came from. I saw it like 4 or 5 times on the job. 3 days before the event, I saw it, but I didn't see it at the job. So, I just paid that shit no mind. It's a floating fucking head with no face. So, I go to work on Friday. I see the damn thing zoom past. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is that? It does it 2 more times. About the 4th time I saw it, somebody didn't stack the dishes right. So the dish fell, and I didn't want it to come out my check, so I went to grab it. It broke and cut a tendon in my thumb. So then the doctor had to stitch the inside tendon and put a hole through my thumb, stitch this thing up so I can go to therapy, so I can have mobility on my thumb. Shout out to Dr. Kenny, because he's the one that did it. Years later, I worked at Murray Steaks. 2 things happened at Murray Steaks. So the first time I saw it, didn't pay attention to that shit. I'm thinking about that shit. Like, this thing, it's just my imagination, it's just going wild again. Not remembering, dumbass. Don't ever forget these spiritual events, man. So I go in the walk-in, I ain't thinking about it. And something says in my head, you should probably turn around. I turn around to a whole bunch of boxes, and they buried my ass. For 30 minutes, I laid in the walk-in with no jacket, just a t-shirt and the pants that I was wearing, and an apron, covered in boxes on top of boxes on top of boxes, nothing but fish. All frozen, all in the box. The boxes never busted open. I was just buried in boxes of fish. It took 30 minutes for somebody to realize that I wasn't in. Yeah, I'm good. Just get me the fuck out of here. It's cold. On this side, it's somewhere in here. You probably can't see it, but it's there. And I almost cut off my middle finger. So then I had to go to prompt care, but I had to wait almost 2 hours because the manager was doing everything she could to not let me go to the fucking hospital. And it wasn't the manager. It was the main manager. Because the manager was like, you need to go, and you need to go. But the district manager, whoever the big boss was, she was like, no, he's not going. I was like, look, I'm going to bleed to death. And you're going to get sued if I die because my family's going to sue you. I think you might want to let me get my little red machine and go to fucking prompt care because this is a workers' comp incident. I didn't cut my shit on purpose. And so they finally let me go. I got about like 13 stitches on the outside. And they're like those little baby stitches, like what I do with my socks. So the long and short is that if you happen to see spirits or anything like that, go with your gut. Before you get scared, just know that shit's real, right? And if you want to believe in God, great. If you don't want to believe in God, great. I am not here to force religion on you, but that's my experience. So take it for what it is. You don't have to like it. You don't have to believe it. But understand one thing for sure. There are things out here beyond human understanding. And if we're lucky, we won't have to experience those things so that we don't have to understand it. And this is also why I still believe in Bigfoot and Wendigo and other things. And it's not just because I'm part native. It's just because, you see a couple of floating heads and you get choked in your sleep by some unseen entity that no one else can see in the dark, and it's actually not a fucking shadow person. Um, you're kind of stupid if you don't question reality. So, thank you for watching. I'm Echo Fan Great Wolf. This is Comfort Avenue number 2. Be seeing ya.